Hello, Mike Ako, and good afternoon. Mahalo for joining us in today's AEN hearing. It's Wednesday, April 1st, and we are convened in room 224 and video conferencing, which includes the audio and video of remote participants. It's being streamed live on YouTube. In the unlikely event that we're cut short, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on April 6th at Monday at 3:05 p.m. here in room 224 during AEN's time slot, and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. And we do have a 2-minute time limit on testifiers. 2 items on the agenda. First up is Governor's Message 729, submitting for consideration and confirmation to the Advisory Committee on Pesticides. Gubernatorial nominee Steve Russo. First up we have is Dab.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Esther Reichert, Pesticides Branch Manager, Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity. We stand on our written testimony, and I just want to reiterate that Steve Russo has shown great work when he was employed by the Department of Ag a few years ago, and he has continued to be a successful advocate of the appropriate use of pesticides in the pesticide industry. I will be here if you have any questions.
Great, thank you. Anyone else wishing to testify on this measure? Okay, Steve, would you like to make a statement?
Yes, good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I hope I can contribute what I've learned, both working at the state and working in private industry about the safe use of pesticides. I am a board certified entomologist and a certified safety professional, so I feel like I do bring, in addition to my experience, some professional credentialing that can be beneficial to the people of Hawaii. And my primary focus really for what I can contribute is some industry perspective and kind of how proposed measures might work in a practical sense. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, and I'm here and available.
Thanks, Steve. Members, any questions? Okay, I got one question for you, Steve. So from your experience, where do you think Hawaii is doing well on pesticide regulation, and where is there room to improve?
Okay. So I think where we're doing well, first of all, I think we do a pretty good job of being clear about what the state expects from our applicators. I think we do a pretty good job of combining the educational outreach with the enforcement programs we have. I think it's really important as people enter the industry that they get a really good education about what the expectations are, what the laws are. We didn't all get a formal education in this subject, so we don't all have that background to lean on. So I think that's where we're really strong. I think where we could probably improve is when we're looking at things like invasive species. I think we can improve on more public-private partnerships to try to ensure that we're addressing anything that pops up in a very timely and efficient manner. That's something I do in my business right now. We do some invasive species work. I think there's a lot of room for that in a variety of different ways in the community. And again, it has to source back to education and safe communication for those involved.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Steve. We had 3 in support, 0 opposed, and 0 comments. Let's move on to the next measure, GM 777. Submitting for consideration and confirmation to the Board of Ag and Biosecurity. Gubernatorial nominee Suzanne Schreiner. First up is Dab.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Senator Rhodes. Sharon Hurd, Chair of the Board of Agriculture and Biosecurity, for which Suzanne Schreiner is being nominated. I've known Suzanne, full disclosure, I've been a fan of Suzanne Schreiner's for many years, admiring the work that she's done on behalf of the industry, both in the county, state, and federal levels. What she brings to the board that board is lacking right now, and she would bring a real enhancement would be with the export sector. She is the executive director of the Synergistic Hawaii Agriculture Council, and she is responsible to do something called a very difficult document called the Unified Export Strategy, the UES. She's been doing that successfully over the years, bringing to Hawaii and Hawaii exporters upwards of $200,000-$300,000 a year to conduct activities. That is something the board would really be helped by, is that export piece, as well as coffee farmer representative on the federal level. She brings skill set to the board that would really help us make our decisions. So thank you for the opportunity to testify. Available for questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Next is Mark Peterson on Zoom from Macomb Coffee Farmers Association. Mark?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, Chair Hibbert and Vice Chair Richards and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify in strong support of Suzanne Schreiner's appointment to the Board of Agriculture. You have seen my written testimony, so today I'd like to highlight several personal qualities I believe make Suzanne an exceptional fit for this role. For the past 5 years, I've worked closely with Suzanne in our leadership roles with the Kona Coffee Farmers Association. In that time, I have seen day by day her integrity, her steadfastness, and her deep commitment to Hawaii agriculture. She is profoundly honest, guided by strong ethical standards, and consistently places the interests of farmers and the broader community above her own. Suzanne is also a doer. When complex issues arise, she steps forward, organizes the work, follows through until the job is done, and she has led difficult projects that require patience, technical understanding, and the ability to bring diverse viewpoints together. She does this not by dominating the room, but by listening first, truly listening, and then contributing thoughtfully. And as the discussions progress, her approach is collaborative, respectful, and solutions-oriented. In a group setting, Suzanne is the person who helps move conversations from ideas to actions. She is skilled at finding common ground and is willing to compromise when needed to achieve a broader goal. These are exactly the qualities that make an excellent board member. She has integrity, humility, practical experience, and the ability to work constructively with others. Most importantly, Suzanne cares deeply about Hawaii agriculture's future. She understands the challenges facing farmers, the importance of biosecurity, and the need for policies that support both economic viability and environmental stewardship. For these reasons, I believe Suzanne will be a highly productive member of the Board of Agriculture, and I respectfully urge the committee to confirm her appointment. Mahalo, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much, Mark. Anyone else wishing to testify on GM 777? Brian?
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Brian Miyamoto here on behalf of the Hawaii Farm Bureau. You have our written testimony and strong support. Just want to add a couple of things. I don't think I can say any better than Chair Hurd and the previous speaker on why Ms. Schreiner is perfect for this position. She's a farmer. She's executive director of SHAC. And she has another title that I gave her today after the briefing. She's a rock star. Senator Rhodes, remember your briefing back in October? Who did we have on there in the small panel? Ms. Schreiner. She was chosen intentionally for her knowledge, background, and understanding, especially where federal programs are concerned and the commodities, the export commodities that she represents. Coffee, papaya, nursery, cacao. Chair Gabbard, who do you have on your panel today? And that was selected by Amanda Shaw. So somebody, it wasn't me, but appropriately on there. Again, she is a rock star. She will bring so much value with her experience, her knowledge, and her understanding of the true needs of agriculture because she is one of those producers. So again, we are in strong support and we encourage the committee to vote favorably for Ms. Schreiner. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Brian. Joan Obra on Zoom.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, and Senator Rhodes. My name is Joan Obra, and I am the grant writer and program manager for the Synergistic Hawaii Agriculture Council. And it is hard for me to limit to 2 minutes the good things that I want to say about Suzanne Schreiner, but I will do my best. I've worked closely with Suzanne since 2017. It's about 9 years now. And under her leadership as administrator, SHAC's programs serving Hawaii agriculture have expanded considerably. We now include marketing, disaster relief, scientific and technical assistance, and workforce development, all to benefit Hawaii-grown coffee, macadamia nuts, cacao, papaya, tea, ulu, and floriculture and nursery products. And this expansion is no accident. Suzanne is a remarkably clear strategic thinker, someone who can hold the immediate priorities, the medium-range planning, and the long-term vision all at once. She also has cultivated extensive relationships at the county, state, and federal level, as well as with the University of Hawaii and other organizations that serve Hawaii agriculture. And this was especially helpful last year when federal funding for our programs shifted considerably. Suzanne's network and her resourcefulness helped us resecure funding for Hawaii Ag. And finally, I want to emphasize how Suzanne leads. She listens, she supports her people, she gives credit publicly and takes personal responsibility. And in nearly a decade of working alongside her, I have never once doubted that she has the mission of Hawaii Ag and the people around her at the center of everything that she does. The Board of Agriculture and Biosecurity would be fortunate to have her. I offer my full and enthusiastic support. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to testify on GM 777? Ms. Schreiner, would you like to make a statement, please?
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, senators. I appreciate your time, and I'm humbled to be here before you today and to hear the testimony of my peers. I'm very grateful for their comments. I've been in ag for about 25 years. I moved home for a year, left an engineering and sciences job to help my parents out on their family farm during some health issues. Obviously, I never left. And what I found in the ag community was a group of growers who are wonderfully realistic about the moment they're in, whether it's flooding or sunny weather, who are always optimistic about the future harvest or the cattle coming in, and are a little bit crazy to believe that they can live off the land here in Hawaii. And I really have enjoyed my time. And during that period, somewhere I shifted from enjoying growing my family's coffee and macnut business to being more interested in helping other growers increase their own businesses. And that's how I became involved with SHAC. Started out with pest and disease work and moved into the marketing work and now into disaster relief as well. And I have that aspect of service that I enjoy so much is my reason for wanting to contribute to the board. It's another aspect of service to help the growers on our neighbor islands and the Big Island, and all the people that I enjoy working with. So with that, I'm open to any questions, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. And we do have one more testifier. You can stay there. Mr. Glenn Sacco, is that right?
Yes, Chair Gabbard, Vice Chair Richards, and members of the House Committee on Agriculture and Environment. My
This
name
the
is Glenn.
Senate. Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
This is the Senate.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong one. But anyway, my name is Glenn Sacco. I'm agriculture specialist with the Department of Research and Development in the County of Hawaii. On behalf of Director Benson Medina, Deputy Director Dennis Lynn, and myself, we support Suzanne Schreiner's nomination to the Board of Agriculture and Biosecurity. She has an extensive background in coffee and tropical agriculture and has done significant work to support the industry groups of floriculture, macadamia nut, papaya, coffee, and cacao as the administrator of the Synergistic Hawaii Agriculture Council. I found it to be a pleasure working with her and fully support her nomination. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Glenn. Members, any questions?
Quick question, Chair.
Senator Decor.
Suzanne, thank you for being here, and thank you for what you do. I think family farms are the best.
Agree.
So with that being said, do you think the department is doing enough to address all invasive species and pests that we're dealing with today with that threaten our local agriculture?
I think that, being on the Big Island and listening to the wave of koki that came over the hill and now a little fire ant, we knew those came over. This is a long-standing issue on the neighbor islands in particular where it can be a challenge to catch them early enough. If we had caught koki in those early days when it was just in the Pahoa area, we'd all be better for it. And so I think the scale of invasives that assault us every day are probably bigger than what any state agency can handle. And I'm not sure there's an easy answer for it without a lot more staff to inspect everything that comes in. You still have people who sneak stuff in, that's how we got the koki. So I think to contain them early is probably the biggest challenge because they don't always know they're in the community until it's too late. So
I just want to follow up. So 3 years ago, talking about spittlebug. Spittlebug first came. It was, found, and they delayed the process of addressing spittlebug, which took out thousands upon thousands of acres of feed, pasture lands. I mean, I sit by and I cringe every time I watch the board meet. One person kind of might drive it, and then everybody just kind of kumbaya, and joins in. What would have done differently if you sat on the board knowing that there could have been several different measures, I believe, to control spittlebug so that it would not spread, and then it also put kind of suppressed, I believe, other ranchers because now the treatment of moving cattle from one area to the other became super apparent. Take like Molokai, tuberculosis. So today I'm not happy because there's still a moratorium on it.
yeah.
What are some of the things you believe you can do to talk with the board members instead of rubber stamping one individual's movement going forward?
Well, I'm not a rubber stamper. I'm someone who.
That's why I'm asking you this question.
So, to use my coffee experience, when coffee leaf rush showed up on Maui, it was already on a Hawai'i island then. We just didn't know it. That quarantine of materials was helpful, but it moved on people too, and it's probably how it moved. I think early action is the most important thing, and sometimes here in Hawaii we pause rather than move, and we have to move. And we have to move quickly with invasives. We don't get a lot of time to actually limit them to a small area. And I think that would be, if you could go back in time, that would be my recommendation to the people who are responsible for responding. And that includes not just DAB, but BISC and the ISCs and DONR if it's on their land. And some of these, a little bit of rubbing between agencies. No, it's your problem. And my goal would be to have those conversations, to reach in where it's appropriate for me to reach in, not to overstep anyone's boundaries, but I like to have productive conversations with staff. Not even as a board member, but as a member of the community, I do that now. I'll pick up the phone and say, hey, what can we do here to move things?
So I think the challenge that I find with, some of the board members is that they're not willing to stand up. They kind of just sit there and, I'll take like spittlebug. I believe there were several tactics we could have used for spittlebug. Like I believe in burn back. To kind of suppress an invasive species as it spread. I mean, I look towards you as, coming from a family farm,
Yeah.
You're not gonna take no shit sitting
Yeah.
down, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of look towards you to be that individual
Okay.
to speak up, and you come with a lot of good recommendations and by
Thank you.
good people,
Yeah.
so thank you for wanting to serve. Thank you, Chair.
Anyone else?
Chair.
Senator Richards?
I don't want to let Suzanne come in dressed for the party and we'll have a conversation. It's no secret, Suzanne and I have worked together quite a bit, and I think you coming forward and willing to serve on the board is great. The legislature made a statement, as our state did, that we changed it from Department of Ag to Ag and Biosecurity. And that's just adding a couple of words, but that drives that it means something. And so what Senator DeQuoit's talking about is making sure we have, and you made the comment, slow response. I think that's been our biggest enemy. How do you think on the board you can help affect a change to get that moving quicker?
Well, I think the chair can vouch for me that I'm not afraid to pick up the phone, call her, or text her, or alert her to issues that are going on in the community. One of the issues I saw with CBB was that, with coffee berry borer, was that a lot of the growers didn't understand the situation. So a lot of times, you need to involve the growers in those conversations early. And as particularly with biosecurity, because if a farmer doesn't understand that by moving his feed, he might cause a problem for his neighbor, then it's really important that we get in front of that farmer and say, hey, we're in this together. By the same token, the staff who need to be responding to that issue have to jump in as well. So there's a community overlap with that, where we are all in the same canoe, to use that old thing, where we all have to step up together. It's not always easy, because people, we're a business. We have to move our product, we have to move our cattle, we have to move our coffee, and to get people to pause so we can solve that situation in that minute is a big challenge, as well as bringing in enough staff.
And it will take that strength to stand up and say, we have to move now. And like Senator DeQuoit was saying, not just rubber stamp, and I know you're not a rubber stamp, which is why I'm excited to have you on the board. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so, thank you, Ms. Sherman.
Thank you.
We had 25 in support, 0 opposed, 1 comment. And of the supporters, including James Falconer from the Hawaii Coffee Growers Association, Eric Tenoy from HFNA, Chris Spear from Maui Coffee Association, Ralph Gaston from Isla Custom Coffees, Nicole Galassi, Hawaii Cattlemen's Council, Nathan Trump from Island Harvest, Gordon Noy from Puna Flower Power, Abby Munoz from Monarch Coffee, and John Tenoy from Testifying for Orchid Growers of Hawaii, Alia Kostenko from A Coffee Farm, Dong Theng Neo from Hawaii Tropical Flower Council, Ryan Nakamasu from the Hawaii Coffee Association. So I think you have some wide-based support there, I would say. So total of 25 in support, and plus there were an additional however many individual who are in support. So the committee's okay, we'll just go right into decision-making. Going back to the first measure, GM 729 on Steve Russo to the Advisory Committee on Pesticides. Chair's recommendation will be to advise and consent. Any discussion? Chair votes aye. Vice Chair?
On GM 729, with the recommendation of advice and consent, Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator DeQuoit.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes. Senator Awa is excused. Chair, you have 4 in favor. Motion is adopted.
Thank you, members. And consideration and confirmation to the Board of Agriculture and Biosecurity. Gubernatorial nominee Suzanne Schreiner. Term to expire June 30th, 2030. Chair's recommendation will be to advise and consent. Any discussion? Chair votes aye. Vice Chair?
On GM 777 of the 4 members in attendance, anybody voting with reservations? Any no votes? Chair, you have 4 in favor, motion is adopted.
Thank you very much, members, and that concludes the 3 o'clock.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, and mahalo and joining us on the joint GVO-AEN hearing on Wednesday, April 1st, 2026, 3:30 p.m. Conference room 224. Meeting being streamed live on YouTube. In the unlikely event that we have to suspend due to tech difficulties, we'll reconvene to discuss any outstanding business at 3:01 p.m. Tuesday, April 6th, 2026 in room 225 with a public notice on the website. We do have a time limit testimony, but I don't think we're going to need it, so I won't bother reading it out. We have one item on the agenda, and it is a resolution, and is requesting certain state and county agencies in coordination with community-based organizations to develop a comprehensive statewide food security strategy. First up, we have Department of Ag. They've written in support. We have DBED. They have written in communications. We have DDC.
Danger Bartolos, Executive Director for the Hawaii State Council on Developmental Disabilities. We're going to stand in strong support of our written testimony. We did put a comment in there and ask for a recommended change to strengthen, and we're here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks so much. Appreciate you being here, Daintree. We also have, let's see, Aaliyah Herman for Hawaii Food Bank. They are in support. We have Hawaii Appleseed, written in support. Lauren Zerbel, Hawaii Food Industry Association, written in support. And finally, 2 individuals, Kaylee Swan and Kim Wassel Hardy. Apologize if I'm butchering your names. They are in support. Are any of them here? You guys them? Want to testify?
I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to stand in strong support, and I stand by my written testimony,
Awesome.
and I'm available for questions if you have.
Great, thank you so much, appreciate it. And then also late from Amanda Shaw from Agriculture Stewardship of Hawaii.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Kalamai for the late testimony. Appreciate this measure moving forward so much. One respectful request for an amendment. We identified that there is an Act 239 Interagency Food Systems Working Group that's administered within the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism, and that is co-chaired by the ADC, the Agribusiness Development Corporation, and DAB, Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity. And so we thought that might be an appropriate venue that could take forward this report. They're set up to be interagency. They have a mandate to create statewide plans and coordination mechanisms. So I just wanted to offer that in. Thank you so much for the opportunity to testify here for any questions.
Okay, thank you. That's all we received on SCR 41, SR 31. Anybody, which I doubt that there will be, anybody else in the audience wishing to testify or Zoom? Seeing none, members' questions? Seeing none, do you want to recess or go right into?
Go right in.
Okay. We appreciate your comments. However, we're going to move this reso along because the working group can pick it up and assist in the implementation of it. We are going to take the amendments offered by Daintree here for the resolution to add into the whereases to ensure that the disabled community is part of this process. Okay? Any questions or comments? If not, do I have everybody?
Have the vote.
Oh, I got you, and, okay, you're taking, oh, thank you, sir. Go for it, Senate Draft 1, 41 and 31.
All right, recommendation is Chair, 31 and 41. Chair votes aye, right? And then Vice Chair.
Vice Chair.
Oh, aye, sorry.
I vote aye. Senator Moriwaki is excused, and Senator Owa is excused. Chair, recommendation is adopted.
All right, thank you, guys.
Same recommendation for AEN. Any discussion? Chair votes aye. Vice Chair.
On SCR 41, sharing a pen.
Wow.
SR 31, this recommendation pass unamended.
No, we're making amendments.
Oh, excuse. That's correct with amendments. Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye, Senator DeCoit, is excused. Senator Rhodes. Senator Awa is excused. Chair, you have 3 in favor. Motion is adopted on both measures.
Okay, thank you very much. This concludes the hearing.